welcome back. We are here again with artists for the studio tour, artists that will be on the studio tour June 1 and June 2 of 2024. Well, with us is Pamela Gillette.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us.
And daughter, Joelle Gillette.
Oh, thank you.
And I have admired your work since I first set eyes on it in last year's farmer's market, somewhere probably in the summer or spring of last year. I don't use the word very often, but exquisite, I think, for some of your work. It just really caught my eye. Technically, I think it's very good. Your subjects are great. And you do a lot of cards too, right? You do.
We do. We do.
Greeting cards in small format and larger format. So I don't know where to start. You've got a lot. We see you both. We almost always see you together.
Yep.
Because what? Because you can run the square.
Yep. Mom's good at talking to the customers and explaining
She closes
the
the
process.
sale
I'm
and
the
then
bag
you just
lady.
bring it up.
I'm the one who chats and bags, and Joelle's the mainly
The checkout,
she
square.
does the checkout.
So we usually see you together, and you're often at do you try to do every farmer's market?
We do.
Pretty
Yes.
much, right?
As long as we can
All
get
year
into
round.
it, then
And you tend to be in the same corner.
yeah.
I don't know how to describe that because I don't know northwest, south on the angled
know.
streets, but you're kind of the opposite side of all the pastries.
We're by
in
the pig.
Right.
The front door.
I like to say the corner by the
that's
pig.
true.
Oh, right.
The pig
right.
that's
Pig's outside, right
Yeah.
outside the wall. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, and I also, my impression of your booth is that you've got tons of stuff. It must take a long time to set up every week.
It does take a long
We
time.
get there right at 8 when they open the doors for us to get in, and then usually by 9:25 we're ready to go.
So when people come to your booth, and they should definitely come to your booth at the farmer's market, get ready to spend a little more time. There's a lot to look at, but it's beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, this year, be in Roche Harbor. That's kind of a shorter season, right?
It's the end of June. I think it starts June
June
22nd
Yeah.
until the first week of September. So
Basically
after-
Labor Day.
But
So
it's every day.
every day,
Yep.
weekdays,
Yeah.
weekends, July 4th,
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
We're excited.
And just the two of you are going to cover that?
yeah.
We're going to attempt it,
We're
yes.
hut number 8, so we'll see how this year goes for us. We're excited.
Now, you have been there under an umbrella in the recent years. And then you'll be on the studio tours. Now, is there any overlap there? How are you going to do farmer's market? Are you going to have to not be at the farmer's market when Roche Harbor starts?
No, we'll split up, unfortunately.
Oh,
The big
how are you going to ring up the sales?
I'm going to either coerce my wonderful husband to help me or grow up and try it on my own.
It's just,
I know, but
what do
when
you,
people say, oh, can I trade this for that? Because our inventory is through Square as well, so I'll be okay.
you can do it.
Mom will work.
I'm saying it on TV.
rough.
I can do it.
You can do it. I think you can. You probably have a good teacher here.
I have a wonderful teacher, yes.
How many things have you taught Joelle? Now, let her teach you that. How about
Right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
that? That sound good?
She doesn't give herself enough credit. She can do it. She's done it.
I'm not technically savvy, that's all, computer savvy or
Yeah, but you
anything.
could be in one tiny little area. Be really a power user of,
I know,
Swear.
it's a lesson I have to
and
learn.
it's money. It turns into money.
I said teasingly to Joelle, when you leave or when I'm there by myself, I'm just going to put a little sign that says free. Then I won't have to do it at all.
That'll teach her.
No, it'll work out.
Yeah. Okay, so and then in the winter, are you mostly just building up inventory? Just painting and drawing and painting and drawing?
Paint, but we do the holiday shows. So it doesn't, I think it would be just January is
January,
quiet.
February for us.
But the market starts up in February again, once.
Well, it's the first weekend or first Saturday in January and February. I think there's talk about making it the 1st and the 3rd this 2025, so that there are only just 2 schedules.
But it is
for
a
the
good
farmers
time
market.
to be creative
Yeah.
but we paint all and create all year because, again, people seem to come and say, "What do you have new?" So
You
we
paint, your studio's at home?
it is.
You have music on?
Music. We have 5 dogs that keep us very entertained. They're 4 little French bulldogs and 1 huge 120-pound Akbash. And
Wow.
he's a couch potato, but he's a great guy. But the others are just fun.
Is there a time of day that you paint the best?
In the morning for me. In the mornings. How about you?
I try to paint over the weekends because I'm busy right now with work, but hopefully it's either in the evenings, even though the light is better in the mornings. So that's the goal, to have that.
So you do have other jobs or other job?
Yes.
Yeah.
As island living goes, you have multiple jobs.
Do you wish you could be full-time artist?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that still, is that possible, you
I
think?
hope so.
Well, you know the old saying, starving artist, but
Yeah.
it's tough, but it's
It's a great community for art, so we've definitely seen that. But we hope that with time, we're definitely pushing for that.
So I've gone deep into the show without starting with the first question, which is how long have you lived here?
we have lived here 6 years.
Yep, May marks 6 years.
So you are Friday Harbor via Connecticut, Ohio, Utah, and then here, right? And what a difference in all 4 of those places.
Very different.
Geographically, demographically,
Very different.
very different.
And you'll see it in our art. A little New England and mostly Utah,
Yep.
because we lived there longest.
The elk and the moose. That's a popular question when someone sees the moose art at the farmer's market. Do you have moose on the island?
There are moose on the island?
Like, no.
So you make prints. So you're still selling prints from things from Ohio and
We have a range of product. Do you want to pull out the range?
yeah. Let's take a look
Yeah.
at
So
some of
we-
the products.
Obviously have the orca, because you have to in the San Juan
Joelle's the
Islands.
watercolorist mainly.
Okay.
I'm mainly an acrylic artist, but we
then-
both do color pencil, pen and ink.
You can have-
That's awesome.
And then this,
That's awesome.
that
And it's not-
is
not
color
just the-
pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so then
not
we
just
have
the color, but
cards
the
and-
composition is terrific.
Thank you. So we have greeting cards, which are that one. We have note card packs, which are a set of 5. We have what we call our little enclosure cards, which are great on top of gifts or little notes you want to leave on somebody's pillow. We have notepads, and we also have prints of different sizes.
Now, have you sold that original?
That's
This
the
one's
original.
the original.
That is the
so-
original.
That's
yeah.
the original. And we,
You're willing to sell the originals
yes.
because you
Yes.
can make the prints.
It's nice. It gives a wide range of product and price range for people, and definitely we sell the originals down to the enclosure cards, our smallest product. So it's nice to have
It's
the
terrific.
variety.
Really love that art.
Thank
Really
you.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so we're seeing the kind of the range of the way you execute much of the art. What would you say you sell the most of? Was it the cards?
Note card packs. The
Note-
packs
oh, really?
of 5 seem to be a hot item at Christmas. Our notepads, they're great stocking stuffers.
That's really tasteful, though. I mean, that looks expensive.
Oh, thank
The
you.
printing is very good. The art itself is great.
Our printer that we use is, like I said, a family-run print shop, and the quality, people will come back and say, oh, the quality is there. Our price point is reasonable. We actually started out all with white envelopes, and
say.
our goal was to start trading those out to get envelopes that match
The art.
the
Yeah,
image.
yeah.
And
Very handsome. That's
it's
very
fun. It is
good. Okay.
fun.
What else do you have?
We have the
You like to do sets? You like to execute
Yes, we
something
do.
in
We
Yeah,
try to
different
get
formats?
our
Complete
originals
variety.
made into all of those products. And then, most recently,
This is amazing. This is really, really cool.
that's the original and that's a colored pencil of the dog. And then we do custom
pet portraits.
pet portraits. So you can contact us or visit us at the farmer's market, and
Variety of
Well,
sizes.
variety of sizes and prices again. So if people want an original, they can't afford a larger one, then it goes down to a 4x4.
So who is this to you?
Actually, our vet, we go off island for our French bulldogs to a vet all the way to Ethel. It takes us from door to door about 5.5 hours to get
Ethel?
there. Ethel,
Washington.
Washington.
Where's that?
It's about an hour south of Olympia and
Oh my
about
God.
an
I know, she's very
hour
good.
to the Oregon border. It's a little farm town. And
Is
So
it
her
just for that
husband-
breed, or you just like their style?
Joelle
or-
breeds French bulldogs.
Yeah.
So
she's a reproduction specialist,
yeah.
so she's very
Wow.
good.
So it's a commitment there.
But so
That sure
they
is a
breed
commitment.
Rottweilers
Uh-huh.
and
So that's one of,
inspired.
yeah,
that.
that's inspired
Yeah.
that one.
Our camera's not going to do that justice, but go back to that, Jeremy. That is basically, this is colored pencil, right?
Yes.
And that is virtually every hair drawn, from what I can tell.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Thank
that
you.
precise.
I like the detail. Joelle and I both like
It's
detail. But
stunning.
thank you.
And I think I had asked, this took a couple weeks, would you say, on and off?
I can only sit at my easel for about 4 hours straight because
Because you'd go insane.
I would go insane. I can tell when I'm not focused enough
Right,
and I'm
right.
just
You-
drained. So
right. You start
and the dogs
drifting,
say,
Yep.
"Grandma, it's time to move, get active." So it's good for me to walk away from it and come back.
But still, we're looking at 2 weeks worth of work here, so.
Because once I'm finished, I also like to step away again
Mm-hmm.
and just come back to it with fresh eyes to make sure that I'm getting.
So was your vet happy with this?
They were, yes.
I would hope, yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful work.
Thank you.
All right. Well, do you have more over there? Or
We-
We've got it all out there.
Have this
Well, I
one.
wanna
We
get-
Yeah,
can,
let's talk about that.
Can we put this? I know the color will be off a little bit, but
we'll try it. So
Try
let's
it.
see
Yeah, if there's
it
some spots that
fits
look
in,
white,
I'll
they might actually be green. That's, yeah.
cover it
it's
up.
mostly there.
so the puzzles.
Are
to-
new.
So this is a watercolor.
And
Yes, Joelle's. That's
Joelle's
the original watercolor.
Which is extremely skillfully done.
Thank you.
You know, this, leaving the white in there and the way that
Yeah,
that
it's
pink
a
stops and. you know,
technique
this is-
called wet on wet.
Yep,
So
which is probably the hardest.
It-
And
Definitely watercolor has a life of its own and you
Mm.
learn the different ways of using it and I like trying
the blues
out.
here, this is, you know, classic watercolor. It still looks wet, actually. You know, and that's amazing that it can just kind of settle in that state and look like that. But I tried a little bit of everything in high school, and I thought watercolor was the hardest. It's the least
Thank
forgiving.
you,
You know,
Joe.
you can blot it up a little bit, but pretty much what you put down is you're going to have to live with, right?
Yes and no. I always say it's really the paper. So I love Arch's watercolor paper because it does have more forgiveness where you can take up the color and go back, but you definitely have to let it dry and
So is
then
that a pen and ink underneath there?
on top of it. I did
top, okay.
pen on top just to enhance it a little bit, I felt, for this particular piece.
Let's go back to that, Jeremy. Yeah, I take that, we're getting some glare off the puzzle, but I just think this is outstanding.
It's one of my many favorites of Joelle's, but
Thanks, Mom.
I asked Joelle to teach me once with the
I'm not a good-
watercolor, and I can't do it.
I'm just not a good
Yeah.
Can't do
teacher.
it. And I
Well,
never
it's-
thought I was a control person, but I guess I do like.
Well, the style is so different from, acrylic or oil or anything like that. It's just such a different process. There's like an interaction going on that's not there with oil or acrylic,
That's true.
with the water. It's like, oh, well,
Joelle's-
what's this going to do? And I guess if you do enough of it, you can almost predict that.
And I kind of like that ability where it lets me not have so much control, where I can
Yeah.
let it do its thing. It's the one.
Yeah, like this white shape in there and these shapes, that just, it decided to do
Yep.
that, right? It's
Let
not
it
that you
have its
necessarily
own
had
life.
Yeah, it's just really well done. And so much
you.
watercolor is overworked. This has a little bit, I would say minimalistic, although on the left side there, it's maybe a little more minimalistic, but I'd say a deliberateness there. So I see a lot of skill in that piece.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I appreciate that.
And you turned it into a puzzle?
We
This is
did.
new this last few months. We
Yeah.
How many pieces?
This one's an 1,000 piece, so it's I don't know the
Any,
glares there, but.
Any self-respecting puzzle worker will not deal with less than 1,000.
We have a
That
couple.
was a good call.
We're now doing postcard puzzles too, so those are 24 piece.
Nah, it's
and
for babies.
you can send those in the mail and
Nah.
sort of bridge the gap of our cards into.
why we're doing puzzles. So
So this is a really good piece for a puzzle because it's got some easy parts. Everybody's gonna, well, not everybody, works puzzles different ways, but I would start with the easy stuff, which is, what is this, a seahorse? What do you call it?
we always
Yes.
start with the edge.
Well,
Right,
you
Jeff?
see, no,
Oh, you don't?
I guess I do. It's been a little while, but yeah. Well, you start with the four corners.
That's right.
And then you work it out. But when you get down into here, that's the hard part. And, a good puzzle has to have a pretty hard part too.
Yeah.
So this is actually a good choice, I think, for a puzzle.
The puzzle company we are working with, they sent us a sample of the
Wow.
octopus that we had done. And so I said, we have to do it. So we did it, and it was challenging, but we have a photo of it because I just want to prove to people if they come back and say, oh, I can't do this. I
Oh,
said,
no.
oh,
it's not,
no, it can
no,
be
no,
done.
No, it's not that hard. Here, we're gonna have a show on how to put a jigsaw puzzle together. No, but there's enough lines there that you could, and even this, there's enough
Variation.
high tones
Yes.
and low tones that you
Yeah.
can.
So
I don't
we'll
know.
have
Nobody's
these.
gonna come. You're a warrior.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody's gonna come back and say
See
they
all
can't
this
work
gray
that
hair?
puzzle.
I earned every one of them.
If they tell you they can't work that puzzle, then they're an idiot. So, don't give their money back. But yeah, that's really cool, and it's cool that you turned that into a puzzle. I like that. But again, I'm seeing it down in the tail there too. Just our camera's doing some really weird stuff with that.
It could be the,
But that's the green screen stuff.
yeah.
But that tail down there, again, I wish our camera was a little closer and better, but very deliberate, very, very clean. That's the thing is when you can get that cleanliness in watercolor without the overworking, the strength of the colors without overworking it. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
Good job. Is that all we got on that part?
Well, we have this one of Mom's. We can.
Nice.
So Mom loves painting eyes, painting and drawing eyes. She feels they're to the soul.
It is.
So,
Eyes are to the soul. I actually have a series. We have 2 left of the 6 series, but I titled the series, and we didn't bring that card with us, but I have 6 different animal eyes on the card, and I titled it San Juan Eye-Land, Eyeesland. So it's sort of, so that's the fox in
This
the
is
series.
acrylic?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay.
But this story is when we lived in Utah. It was a big draft. It was beautiful. And when I painted it, I thought it needed a very special title. So I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up the Ute Native American tribe and find the word for horse. Well, I learned something. I learned that the Utes traveled by foot. They didn't really use the horse in transportation or anything. So they didn't have a name for this that it triggered me.
Connected
So
with.
I kept researching, and I can't remember the Native American tribe that I used, but I titled this Wanagiska, which means white spirit, and I thought that was appropriate for this painting. So that title is Wanagiska, and hopefully I'm saying it correctly, which means white spirit. So
Is painting spiritual for you?
yes, it is. I tried. It's very. I think with any artist, you're kind of opening yourself up
Oh, yeah.
personally, and I would hope, because that's what makes it unique, that's what makes it yours, so
Yeah,
to speak.
It's the way you saw it.
But animals, I have a special place in my soul for animals, and I love doing the animals.
So you grew up, Joelle, in an artistic household.
Yes. Always surrounded by
Did you always feel like you'd be an artist?
I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life, and I think I'm still figuring that out. But my love for art has definitely developed more and more, and what's better than to be able to create art with my mom?
Yeah.
So she's my best friend, so I'm very lucky to be
You
able
guys are
to.
close, I can tell.
Yes, very.
And my parents were wonderful to nurture creativity. My mom was a nursery school teacher for over 35 years, and my dad a nurseryman. They met at Cornell, and they were very, not artists in your traditional sense, but artists in
Artistic.
artistic,
Yeah.
creative.
Is your work inspired by this location, by this island?
It's been very fun to move like we did, because well, Joelle, you did do the seahorse in Utah. But the nautical end of things, we're growing that, and I'm learning a lot from that, and it's challenging. But we try to stay true to ourselves and do what we love, and we're lucky to, do what we love and love what we do.
So you kind of imprint on wherever you are, and you kind of focus on the animals of that region, right? So you're probably not going to do many sailboats, or are you?
Not really. We have a couple in mind creatively.
Creatively.
Yes.
Creatively, thank you. It's been a long day. That we want to do.
Have you done foxes yet?
Lots
yes.
of fox, so that's been a big
We
thing.
didn't bring
Lots
our
of
new
fox
one.
and the orca. Slowly getting more. We have some fairies, and it's trying to find the balance of the fine art and then painting for cards. And so that's been
One of our
something.
best sellers, Jeff, is Joelle's image. She painted a fairy and then the orca in the ocean
Sure.
pulling the ferry.
Oh.
But no rains, nothing. And she said, Mom, I really want this to come across as Christmas.
like
and
Santa's sleigh, where the
there's
orca are the
no-
reindeer
Oh, yeah.
and the
Cool.
There's no
fairies the
wreath on the
sleigh.
ferry. There's nothing else there, but they're all in a row. And I said, let's live with this for a little while. And then I think simultaneously, a
dinner.
couple days later, why didn't we think of this? Fairy Christmas. And so we have it titled on the front of the image, Fairy
It's
Christmas.
sold like crazy.
It's very popular.
Probably sell again this year, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm working on another one, so we'll see what comes of that. It's a
So
work
it's
in
the
progress right now.
subtle entendres or subtle little
Making it
things.
fun.
Yeah. And
So-
then we have a line of gnomes. We didn't bring those, but the family of gnomes, I started out with 3, and now I think we have 18 so far. But the long cards, of course, they're so funny. We have a front and then we have a back, and they stand as a sandwich board. If you receive or just want to have one out, they stand like that so you can see the front and the back. And they're just supposed to make people smile because it's been a rough couple of years for a lot of people. So it's really fun to have people come and look, and then we'll say, well, if you think the front's fun, turn them over and you'll see the back. And yeah, it's been fun to see people's reactions with those. So
Joelle, do you sometimes tap into your mom's wisdom? Like if you're struggling with something, and does she have a different perspective sometimes?
She does. She gives wonderful insight. So if
Yeah.
I'm struggling, I'm like, I don't know. And it is, like she said, where you look at it for so long and then you just need to step away.
Right.
And I'll be like, come look at this. What does it need? Because I am struggling with it, but I don't know what else to add or to change.
Right.
And she gives wonderful insight of to either say, it's good, you just leave it as is, or no, add a little bit of this, try shadowing a little bit more.
You're
and
lucky.
I'm very lucky.
You're lucky.
I have an in-house teacher and
Yeah.
can just,
but again, art is in the eye of the beholder. So if Joelle sees it that way, I don't want to steer her to do something that isn't what she wants to do. But if she asks me, then I'll give her my honest opinion.
Well, I'm guessing you know when it's finished. You know,
Yeah,
most of the time
sometimes
you
you're-
just know. It's like, I think,
when it progressively gets, you're more frustrated with it, then I
Yeah.
know, okay, I need to be done. It's
do you teach, Pamela?
We've talked about it because several people have asked. You know when it's the right time and when it's just not. And we've talked about it. And right now, I think not. But it's something we have
Maybe.
noodled over.
Yeah.
little paint classes.
We also have some things that we can put up on the screen. Jeremy, you want to run through some of those? You can kind of narrate as we put these up.
That is a large, was it 5-foot painting that you've done?
Talk about having it hard to bring with you. So that had its feature at the studio tour last year. And
It really has an underwater feel.
thank you. The
Mom did
bubbles
every
are all
bubble.
individually.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see them really, but they're all individually done. I didn't take a circle and stamp them or anything, but it was fun to do. It was fun to do. And I'm learning that I'm far from knowing the nautical, horses or cows, or you can touch and feel, and I'm not underwater taking photos, so it's sort of what I've researched, and so it's fun.
It's a little setup at last year's
There you
studio
can see
tour.
the series of the eyes. I have an owl, an otter,
Oh, yeah.
an eagle, a raccoon, a seagull, and the fox. So that's the San Juan Islands theme.
That's cool.
So we do minis. Here's,
Well, just on that.
yeah, we do minis, small, like 2x4s. on
3x3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Trying to make a price point where almost anyone can have an original piece of art if they're wanting to. So you see the variation of the 5-foot orca painting down to the little 2x4.
It probably helps too,
Original.
because some people do have a budget. It's like, I want this. I can't have the 5-footer, but
and I like originals. I don't want to print. You get a lot of that. So
And feeding off of the minimalist lifestyle that a lot of people are going for these days. A little smaller piece
right. Okay,
fits into that.
next.
That's a colored pencil. That was a new Christmas card this year. Cardinals have a personal, deep meaning for me. They remind me of my dad, and I'm sad there aren't cardinals here on the island.
Me too.
Hummingbirds are here all year round. I could feed them at Christmas time if I wanted to, but no cardinals.
Makes me
so-
sad because there's no baseball team called the Cardinals here. So, yeah,
So,
that's great.
but
The face, I guess birds have faces. The face
Yeah.
is really good,
thank you.
really well done.
And then
See, this is an example of, this is the setup that you guys do. It's so much, so it's, and you know, people need to stop and look. There's
We
so
tell
many
people to take your
beautiful
time, you know.
individual pieces, yeah.
Thank you.
Are those coasters? What's that down there at the bottom?
Those were little pins that Mom started creating, all hand-drawn colored pencil pins that off of the nautical flags, and then just other island-themed related fox and
We don't
whale
always
tail.
bring everything with us, but those are done on watercolor paper with colored pencil, and then I put a finish on them, and they're fun. They're just little lapel pins.
Don't you love Roche Harbor? In the summer, it's amazing.
Yes.
I ask everybody, do you go to Lime Kiln and get the clam chowder? Lime Kiln Cafe?
We heard that was your question of the
I
interviews.
ask everybody that. Yep.
Well,
Go to Roche.
we're New England people. Let's see.
I'm not
Well-
really
Joelle
a fish
doesn't eat
person,
fish.
so I've never had their
I
clam
love
chowder.
clam chowder.
Yeah, it's, you know, every region has a different take on it. But
Right.
I would call it a Pacific Northwest clam
Right.
chowder.
It's good. It is
You'll have to
good.
try it,
Yeah.
Mom.
You really
I
should
will.
try it.
Yep. Yummy.
Let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Some more minis.
This is, I can tell from the window there, this is,
Our little corner at the
Earthworks.
yeah.
yep.
So some miniature watercolor and then miniature acrylics, both of ours.
You're very organized. It's very symmetrical and
Well, there's so much to our art and so much variety that something has to be organized with it because we are quite eclectic in our choices.
okay. Next.
Some more originals.
Some fall. It was
You
probably
don't do
fall
too many
time.
bugs. Do you do a lot of bugs?
No, but Joelle does butterflies, and I like to do the bees. I like.
Have you
bees.
done the marble, whatever?
So
Oh, yeah.
that
Such and
one
such.
on the Karen, Mom did the
On
island
the left
marble.
of the apple those are rocks that I found at South Beach, and I painted those, and then added the island marble butterfly.
And has that been selling? I would think some of the locals would
Yeah,
want
if
that.
I explain,
Yeah, you have to explain it.
if I explain it, then yes.
And the tourists like it. It's very unique to the island. They're wanting something that
Iconic.
they can relate,
Yeah,
and so
which
when they
you get
have
that.
that
You get that.
story to go with
I want a
it.
fox, I want an eagle, I
Yep.
want a whale, I want the butterfly. But that makes sense. And we like tourists.
We do.
Tourists are good. Tourists bring $300 million a year to this. Seriously.
It's amazing.
That's truly, it's almost a third of $1 billion a year.
Amazing.
So I've been studying a lot of data, economic data, and I don't know how we can get around the fact that a
We
third
need
of
them.
$1 billion, that's not like 10 years, that's 1 year. So,
Amazing.
It's a beautiful
yeah, it
place
can be
to visit.
annoying and this and that, but
We have
gosh,
to be patient.
they, and you know, largely they disappear for 6 or 7 or 8 months.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know.
I agree with you.
I don't know that I ever knock the tourists too much, but I think it's pretty important.
It's
No.
And you
very
can really
important.
feel the presence, I'm sure, at all of your venues.
It's very fun because we'll ask people,
Where they're from. and-
typically they're not from here, but we do say, do you live here? Are you visiting? And they'll say, I'm visiting. And it's fun to hear, Texas, Maine, Canada, of course, that's not too far, but it's just
Even
fun
in
to
Europe
hear.
and
Oh, yeah.
where people are.
Yeah, like whether it's Spring Street or in Roche Harbor, in the peak of summer, all the license plates. It's just amazing. It's just amazing
That's a good
how
way to-
far people come from
Yeah.
to be here. It's cool.
Who can blame them though? It's beautiful.
Right.
It's-
Do you ever, you've been here 6 years, but do you ever just, because sometimes it's easy to forget if you don't see the water that we're on an island. It's just like, yeah, I'm going to
You
the
do
grocery
forget.
store, but then you catch, like going out Cattle Point, you catch out the left, you see the water, you go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because a lot of people come through and they think, you know, you'd be really lucky to live here. It's like, we are.
If you
We are.
stand on your tippy toes in our bedroom, you can see the water, but you really have to stretch on your tippy toes.
I think you can see it more so when we first moved into our home. But of course, the trees keep growing. and-
Well, a real estate agent would still say you have a water view. I'm sure of that.
Well, we live on Panorama Place, so if that gives you an idea of panorama, it is a nice, view, and so hopefully people come visit us. We're number 3
on the
on the
studio
tour, and I think Nancy Spalding is the one who originally. I'm speaking out of turn, so apologize to anyone else who's involved, but she's instrumental in keeping
Absolutely.
the studio tour going, and
Yep.
and it's
And
a
starting
nice
it.
event,
Yeah.
and starting it.
And I think
Yeah, we have a
Darlene
video
Paul
up
West.
on CNL2.com interviewing Nancy a couple weeks ago.
She's
Lays
very
it all out.
kind.
It's an interesting story. So take a look.
Yeah.
Take a look. It's a good interview. So anyway, yeah, speaking of the studio tour, well, let's look at a few more things before we wrap up. I love this piece. I
Thank you.
love the lines of this piece. It looks like, from a distance, it almost looks like a cognac glass or something.
Oh.
You see that?
I could see
You
that.
see the
We have to
Yeah.
make a drink like that, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Jeffrey?
but yeah,
We'll call it
I
the
love the
quail.
strokes of this. Is this acrylic?
Yes.
Yeah, really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Those were 5x7s, so those were smaller.
Next.
Here's some of the
There
gnomes.
are some
go.
of the gnomes.
Uh,
One,
How did you get started on that? How did that happen?
I won't tell you how because I would embarrass myself. So but I just, well, it's a long story.
Mom's always had a love for gnomes.
Well, that's all we'll say. It's okay.
No.
So then I was just being creative with them. I started out with 3
Christmas ones.
Christmas ones. And then I thought, oh, I can really play around with this.
Is that a gnome in front of an American flag?
Well, I was going to say that actually is modeled after my son who's in the military. He's an Apache helicopter pilot.
Oh, wow.
So I should have titled that Chocolate Milk because he doesn't drink, and when he goes out with his soldiers, they all kind of tease him, but it's a nice tease. So they get their beer or whatever, and he gets a chocolate milk. So
I like that.
and then another one, he's not up there, is my other son. He's a big redheaded boy.
Who loves Vikings.
Yeah, he has a company named Varangian, which has to do with Vikings. So
He's a
he's got the
Viking
red
king.
beard, and then he loves his food. So behind him is a big turkey leg. So they all have a backside, is what I'm getting at. So, and then we have, our holiday. We have a St. Patrick's Day gnome, and an Easter gnome, and
Are there other
people-
family members in there represented?
I have to do one for Joelle.
But people have requested custom gnomes, so they want the likeness of someone, and Mom's done that. Well, she'll be like, okay, the eye color, what would they
Glasses.
wear,
So
what would
their
they be
hobbies.
holding, and she does custom gnomes for
Okay,
someone.
so that's 2 things now. I'm hearing custom gnomes and I'm hearing custom pet sketches, right? So there you go. The website is PamelaGilletteArtist.com, and I guess that's how someone would get in touch with you
Yeah.
to talk about some of this custom work. A couple more things and then wrap up. Okay, we saw this guy. Looks like he wears glasses sometimes.
That's me. I was using cheaters for the longest time, and then when I doubled up on cheaters, Joelle said, Mom, it's time to go to the doctor and get
The
your eyes
glasses
checked."
over the glasses?
Yes.
I've done that by accident. Not on
So
purpose,
now
yeah.
I just, it's not that strong of a prescription, but it sure helps.
Okay.
And there's the male
That's the
quail.
male to the female.
That's a great set. Those are 5x7s.
Yes.
Somebody at Roche purchased them, and then the same day or that week, next week I think it was, another person came back and said, I'd like to purchase the quail. And I said, oh, I'm sorry,
Oh.
they sold. And I said, but I can
They
recreate. It
more
won't be 100%
quails, so-
because they'll be different. But so those went to California. So
You don't make prints of the,
we do.
you just didn't own that one.
We had
No,
the
we
prints,
did, but that was
they,
the original. They wanted an original,
Oh, okay.
so
I get that.
so I did two
I
more.
guessed acrylic, but
It
it
is,
looks
yes.
like an oil. The background especially looks
People
like an oil.
say that about my technique. I
Uh-huh.
think, there's things you can do to emphasize certain things, and I tried oil, but again, I go back to my acrylic and my colored pencil mainly.
Oil takes so long to dry.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
have that. We don't have that lifestyle, I like the cleanup of the acrylic. There's not toxins really in that, like with oil, to have to clean that up. I can use soap and water and come back to it. And
I like oils, but it's like you either need to do a whole bunch at once, or,
Right.
and then if you're not going to do it all at once, then it's
Right.
like, well, I think now I'm going to leave this set for a week.
right,
And that really interrupts the flow
It
a lot.
does.
I just never, the rhythm of oil,
Right.
it's like, I guess the masters just do it all at once. It's like, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't,
Yeah.
I'm not that good, so. Okay, next.
that's a color pencil. I don't know if you can zoom in on it, but again,
Yeah.
the little glitter in the hat. I enjoy that one. It's a happy one. It's
Who is this?
one of Joelle's French bulldogs,
That's
and
London.
literally wearing a birthday hat.
I dressed my pups up. I'll admit to that. So that was on her birthday.
That's funny.
But I try to get as lifelike as I can because the
Okay.
people, yeah.
Wonderful. Next,
Thank you.
it's a nice series.
Thank you.
So you can see the original, which is framed behind it, of the orange slice, and then the different card sizes and notepads. So that just shows.
Is this, who made this?
Mom did that one. She did a series of fruit, and
I still have the watermelon left.
yeah,
It's cool.
but the orange actually went to
A
a family
wonderful,
here.
a
on
wonderful
the island.
family who's been very supportive, and a husband and wife couple. I won't say names, but they are
Purchased
very
the
kind,
orange.
and he saw that at one of the holiday shows. He said, "Is this new?" And I said, "No." And he came back a couple times, and he said, "I think I just have to bite the bullet." So it was a small 5x7, and it was very generous,
That's-
very nice of him. They're a very nice couple, so it was fun. But now he has two pieces of
Yeah,
ours.
and he showed us a photo of where it sits in his dining room, I
Yeah,
think.
it's
And
like-
so it's fun
Cool,
being
yeah.
able to see where they end up.
It's,
and
again,
make
it's a
home.
personal thing, and you just want it to. It's like giving up a little
piece of
something
your soul.
of yourself, and it's nice to know that it's going to a special place because it's special to us.
Absolutely. Puzzles, more
Yep.
puzzles.
So the flag is on the right. That one, the original to that was for my son who graduated from West Point. He has
Wow.
that. It hung in our yard, and special story behind that another time. And then the octopus is popular, and then
And
the
they're
one on the
floral.
left is, I titled it "Loves Me." It's daisies in an old rusted chair with a rusted garden tool.
A lot of mom's art has a story behind it.
I can
You
tell.
can always,
Yeah.
there's a story that goes with the majority of them.
So are they kind of stacked up, like I need to do this, and I also need to do this? And
There's a very special one that I have to do.
soon.
I wish you could show it. If you have time, it's a quick little story.
Yeah.
When we moved into our home, I was, we were trying to unpack and whatnot, and we were in the backyard saying, okay, we're going to do this and that, maybe, how life goes. Our big Akbash, an Akbash is from Turkey. We adopted him in Utah. He's a 120-pound, beautiful beast. Well,
Biggest baby.
the one thing my daughter Joelle asked from my parents was my dad's wheelbarrow, and he had handmade the handles of the wheelbarrow and whatnot. So there it sat. The flag, well, the other flag was right by the wheelbarrow. Long story short, RJ, my son who's in the military, got back from Afghanistan and wanted a dog. So we adopted Mosley for RJ, and RJ had so much training, he came and went twice from RJ back to us. And he's a very timid dog, believe it or not, even though he's a guard dog. So we had the wheelbarrow next to the flag, and we're looking at something else, and Joelle said, Mom, just turn around slowly. And so I turned around, and somehow, this wheelbarrow has a flat tire, and it's old. Mosley had climbed, I have goosebumps, into this wheelbarrow, sitting there and looking up at the flag, and
Wow.
it's just, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful sight to see. And
Yeah.
if you know, again, it has a story.
Yeah.
That's one I have to do soon because it's on the forefront, not on the back end.
Yeah.
But
And you're not going to get out of your head until you make
no,
the painting.
I
Right.
hope I can do it justice because it just, my
really
dad,
magical.
RJ, Joelle, all tied into one. Miles, my
Yeah.
other son, had gotten the flagpole. It's an old stick from Utah out in
Yeah.
the woods. And we carried it with us from Utah to here,
Yeah.
and it just has all
You should
tied
start.
in.
It'll feel really good to start that.
I have to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How long was RJ in Afghanistan?
9 months.
Did you worry?
Yes.
That'd be tough.
She's a worrier.
Well,
Right.
that's worth worrying about. I mean, that's a real worry.
There was a story behind that I could share with you another time, or I'll start crying. But
Well, we appreciate our veterans.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the risk and the commitment.
thank you.
CNL2 is extremely pro-veteran, first responder.
Wonderful.
It's really, really important to never forget, as they say. And he wasn't hurt, right?
No,
He
No.
was shot down,
Was
but
he
he
really?
was standing there the day I found out how many years later. He
10
didn't want
years.
to tell me. So in his Apache, he was shot down.
Mm-hmm.
But he was standing. There's a beautiful story behind that.
Okay, well, another day. I don't want to make you cry.
Yeah.
I can tell you're right on the bubble, right on the edge. Okay, is there anything else? What about that video, Jeremy? Let's look at that.
so that's
So
another one of
it's
our
sideways,
Frenchies.
but
That's Ella with the hat.
I love this because it's a progress
Mm-hmm.
shot. It's
Again,
Capturing
colored
eyes.
pencil, trying to show you the detail in the eyes, which are
really
important to me.
skilled.
Thank you.
Do you ever think to yourself, I'm really good at this?
No,
You
not
know?
I think you're ever growing. No, I love it, and I'm proud of.
You're just comfortable.
If proud is okay to use, I've grown a lot, and you continue to grow. You continue to learn every day, and in everything you do, and it's a process. It's a journey, not a destination. That's for sure.
Well, San Juan Island is lucky to have you, San Juan County and San Juan Island.
Thank
So I'm
you.
glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are
This is
too.
the quality of artists that sample of the quality of artists on the studio tour, and we're extremely lucky. And also, the island gives a lot back to these artists. I guess you're about 16 and 17, I think, of the artists that we've interviewed, and it's a really good give and take. It's a really good exchange. Artists come here. Several have said that their art was kind of latent or it wasn't even started yet, and they got here and within a year they were
It is
deep
what
into
art-
their art.
We would agree with that.
But at the same time, it's partly getting, it's the critical mass of art here now is so strong that could be part of it too. You just sense that you're among many, many other artists. I know alchemy is really important to all this, the art museum, and but we're lucky that we're attracting quality and skills and passion of artists like you. So, and so you're crazy not to go on the studio tour because
It's a wonderful event. It's fun.
this is a way to connect with the people behind this. So, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the studio tour. There might be a few more artists that would like to come in for their interviews. We've interviewed, I guess, nearly a third of the 66 artists in 23 studios. That's June 1 and June 2. And thank you. See you soon.